This one was probably pulled off. Let me just look real quick.
I haven't heard anything about any of these.
I got something directly from Chad yesterday asking if he could pull something. Let me oh, you know what? It should be in my sent items. Let me see if this is it, because he would normally be here. Well, let's see in it. Well, in any event, I'm going to handle the ones that Tannier versus Morgan. I don't see these folks here anyway. Let's see, Hirsch versus Hyatt. Good afternoon, Ms. Kerr. How are you?
Good afternoon. Okay, how are you?
Good, thanks. Happy New Year.
Yes, you too.
So on Harsh versus Hyatt, I haven't gotten anybody else in here yet, Shannon, so it doesn't matter. You can put us on the record. Okay, I'm looking to see if I got anyone else on this file in my waiting room. Let's see if I can figure out who's not on this file. All right. David Dingy. All right, I know those two. So I'm going to let everybody else in.
Okay.
And we'll see who they are because I don't have names with these.
That's my client.
Right. That's Ms. Hyatt. Okay.
Maybe the plaintiff. No, that's a female. I'm not sure who that is.
I will find out. Okay, ma'am, on the LG phone, what is your name, if you can hear me?
Jessica Tanier.
All right, hold on a minute.
Okay.
You are here on the Tanier versus Morgan support enforcement show cause.
Correct.
I am pretty sure this is the one I got a communication from the FOC enforcement officer indicating that Mr. Morgan is now working, that there is a wage withholding order in place. He asked me to, let me ask you, are you getting child support? currently?
I haven't gotten any in like 3 months.
I think if this is the one, I was looking through my emails and I can't find the email, but this support enforcement officer emailed me yesterday or the day before, said he had one file coming up in front of me, but the guy is now finally back to work. They have a wage withholding order in place. They are currently withholding, but if that's only been in place a couple of weeks, it's possible the money just hasn't made it into your account yet.
Oh, okay, so he should be paying. Oh, and I never received I got a letter in the mail saying I was supposed to get a new card, and I never received that new card, so maybe that also could be the reason why it's not coming on this card that I have.
Okay. Well, no one else is here on that, so I'm pretty sure this is the matter that I discussed with him. You should be able to contact your uh, uh, person at the front of the court that's assigned your case and ask the question. If you find out it's something other than what I'm indicating to you now,
Mm-hmm.
tell that person that it needs to get rescheduled on my docket.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm probably gonna have to get something because he don't even see his kids or pay or do nothing. So I don't even know where he lives or nothing.
All right. Well, the support enforcement order shows an address in Holland.
Yeah, it's a P.O. box.
Right. But apparently he is working now, so hopefully you will start seeing some money soon.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, looks like we've got Ms. Kerr here. We've got her client, Ms. Hyatt, and we're struggling with an audio connection for Mr. Harsh. I saw him earlier. Now I'm seeing a photograph, but I'm getting that indication on the screen that it's trying to make an audio connection. So I'm sure he cannot hear us.
Yeah, right. No, I don't know.
Well, let's see. I've got a couple different phone numbers for Mr. Harsh. Let me see if I can get him on by phone so we don't have to keep you here forever.
Hello.
Is this James Harsh?
Yes, it is. Is this Judge LaFlamme?
It is.
It is. Soon-to-be ex-wife is waiting, and I was trying to get in there also, and I didn't understand what was going on.
We're just, for whatever reason, we're having trouble getting you connected, but you can participate by phone.
Okay.
do you have at least a visual so you can see what's going on?
I do have a visual of your courtroom, and then there's another lady who pops on there periodically. I'm not sure what that's about. She doesn't look like Miss Hyatt's attorney, so I'm not exactly sure what that is.
That is her attorney. That's Ms. Rebecca Kerr. She is.
Oh, she looks different than the last one, yes.
She is present.
Okay, so why is it that I can't get on there and do a video thing? Or she can't either. I'm in contact with her back and forth, and neither of us can get on there.
Well, we had her.
Yeah, she's
Oh.
still on video. She's got it up on the ceiling though. There she is.
Okay. Well, can I go ahead and try to log back in and try to get going on it? Will it work, do you think, or?
Let's cancel out the one that you're doing.
Okay.
Because it's not making a connection. And are you using your phone to do that?
I'm connected to my Wi-Fi internet, but I could switch over to my phone if that would possibly make a difference.
Well, I'm going to remove this, and I want you to try signing in again and see if that works, okay?
Okay, and I'll switch over to my phone's internet and see if that makes a difference.
Okay.
Okay. Okie doke. Sounds good. All right. Thank you. I'll give it a try.
Okay.
Okay.
Ms. Kerr, have you gotten notice of a new trial date yet?
I don't, Your Honor, but I did just default the defendant yesterday on my counter complaint. He failed to answer, so I did get a default entry yesterday. So I was looking to
Okay.
them, I was going to file a motion to enter a default order and get that put on your docket within the next, 2 to 3 weeks, since he has to have 14 days notice after I file that. So. So at this point, I'm not sure if the trial would be necessary since he did default on the counter complaint.
I just wanted to make sure there was something on the docket. That's fine if that's how you want to proceed.
Yeah, that's my plan.
So, Ms. Hyatt, you can hear me? You got your, you're muted.
Yep.
Is that better?
Yes, we can hear you
It
now.
is. I see I've got you signed in the waiting room.
Well,
Did you try to leave?
I didn't think it was working, so I tried it on another computer.
Oh, okay. I'll turn that one off then.
Okay.
All right, let's try again. So he has logged back in again. Let's see if we can get a connection this time.
There he is. We'll just see if his audio works. Oh, it did not.
Okay.
Oh, looks like it worked. Good.
Mr. Harsh, can you hear me now? Well, it doesn't sound like it. We've got visual.
Right.
I'm going to try calling him again.
Yeah.
And I know he wants the visual participation, which I'm fine with, but we will see if we can't. Well, now it's flipped back to where it was before. Now we've lost video and audio.
Hello, Judge LaFlamme. I did manage to get a glimpse of Rebecca Kerr, and I did see Christy, and I saw the inside of your courtroom. But as far as anything else goes, I don't know.
We had you up briefly, and now it's reverted to a photograph. I'm assuming that's you with a cowboy hat and bib overalls.
No, sir, that's not me. I have a suit. That is probably me. But yeah, that's a different picture than what I'm doing right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, we saw
Okay.
we saw you with a suit and tie.
Yes. Okay. Now you're cooking with propane. Yes, sir.
But for whatever reason, your internet is not allowing a connection. We can proceed.
Okay.
We can proceed with the telephone. I can hear you
Okay.
fine. You should be able
Okay.
to hear everyone else fine.
Okay.
All right.
That'll work.
So we are okay. This is a matter of Harsh versus Hyatt, and I have a number of parenting time complaints in front of me today. So
Yes, sir.
let me
Or
just-
yes, Your Honor.
Let me just verify. We've got, let's see. I've got a very recent one, Ms. Kerr, that you may not have seen yet. I'm not sure. The complaint is dated December 15. It covers the date of December 13th. And then let me see what else is in the file here.
Just to put it in a nutshell, I haven't seen my son for about 80 days, and I just saw him yesterday for the first time, the day before the hearing. Quite ironic, but go ahead.
So you got a visit yesterday?
I did. I took him to the Jackson Crossing, and we did some shopping and stuff, and we were out for a couple hours, and I took him back home afterwards. And I went to the house, and I talked with Christy for a couple of hours, and just trying to get this whole thing sorted out here. And and I'm not exactly sure the reasoning as to why my son does not want to come with me. It's nothing that I've done on my behalf. And so I'm kind of mystified about it, but I'm trying to work with it, with her and with my son, and trying to get down, instead of the lies in saying that Jim was drinking or Jim doesn't have a driver's license or the excuses or whatever is what she's using. But the real truth is, I guess, is what I'm coming to the conclusion of, is that for some reason or another, my son doesn't want to go with me, but I can't figure that out exactly. So it hurts my feelings greatly that he doesn't want to come with me, because I've never done anything wrong to him. So I hope you could understand that.
But he did go with you yesterday.
Yes, sir. Yes, he did. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, he did.
Hopefully that was a visit you arranged with Ms. Hyatt, because that's not your normal day to see your son, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. So,
and what I'm asking for here is this. I'm asking for just what's fair. Now, when we originally went to Chuck Todd with the FOC, we had an order that was signed into place voluntary by both of us. Okay? And so that was done. And I'm just being truthful here. Let's have the truth come out. Because I called CPS because I thought some things that were going on that I witnessed were not good, I called them. And you know what? That had a big detriment on me seeing my son and doing those things. And I would not be able to see my son for months at a time. I mean, she moved another man into the house, Christopher White, Mary White's son, who's 25, younger than her own son. And I have to drive by my house and see my son out in the backyard playing with this guy. And I'm thinking, what's going on? You know? And so, the communication is not there. And,
well, let me ask you, what is it you'd like me to do today?
I want this. And I talked with her for 2 hours yesterday. What I want you to do is to make it to be that my son would come with me. I don't harm my son. I don't do anything bad to my son. And so the separation between us is really what is causing more separation between us, if you can understand that. Because I've asked him before, I said, well, you know, when we first started out this order, he would come to my house all the time. We'd go to the Y, we'd go do all kinds of things, you know. And so just by him becoming, you know, with her all the time, then that's what he's used to. And if there's anything that's different than that, then he doesn't feel comfortable with that. So what needs to be done is, and I don't want to force him to do anything. I don't want him to be, you know, sad or upset about anything, but I try to do everything I can for that child. I care more about him than anything in this world. And so I need to have some influence on him. And if she's not going to do that, I'm not saying that I want her to pick him up and, you know, make him do whatever and drag him to my car or whatever, but we need to work together and figure out what the problems are and, you know, how to keep this going in the right direction. Because there was a time when my son, you know, told me that he loved me more than his mother. And then for all this to happen and then to have another 25-year-old kid just come in there that, you know, and I'm not going to go into details about this, but a 25-year-old kid, and then he's going to parent my child and I don't get to see him at all. That puts a bitter taste in my mouth. And I'm just being honest.
So the visit yesterday went well. Ms.
Yes.
Ms. Hyatt, do
Yes.
you agree that visit yesterday went well?
Yesterday, yes.
And do you think going forward that your son is going to be willing to spend time with his father as long as the visits go well?
Yes.
You two obviously were able to work out a time that really wasn't even part of a court order.
Right. And she did do good with that. But I can say this. Now, this is the fear, Judge LaFlamme, is that, you know what? The last day my son was here, we had a great time. I took videos. He played with the kids. We all had a great time. We went to the go-kart track and everything. But I knew when it was coming up to this next court date, I knew we were going to be separated. And I texted Christy and I told her that. I said, you wonder why I cry every time when you come to get my son. And you know what? I just want the truth to be told here is okay. I was told by Christy that for the last time that I couldn't see my son, and it was right there in the courtroom. And you did suspect right, Judge LaFlamme. I didn't show up there because I didn't have $3,000 for a lawyer, and I was scared to death that I was going to lose my son. But the things that were said was that I had no driver's license and that I was drinking. No driver's license is true. That hasn't impeded me from seeing my son or working in 20 years. And so, but what I'm getting at here is there's a lot of things that are being said that are untrue. What we need to get down to is the real thing of why he doesn't want to come with me. It has nothing to do with the driver's license. It has nothing to do with drinking or anything like that. So, you know, and then they want to say that, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. We met at the police station one time, and that was it. And I came there a second time, and I took pictures of that. And she's telling me yesterday that Miss Kerr tells her to go to the police station and take pictures and, you know, basically say that James Hurst doesn't show up. I would walk there if I had to. And so that's all BS. And I go over to her house and get my son and take him to church in the morning and get him ready while we're playing this whole game like everybody's meeting at the police station and she's going to drop him off here and this and that and all this. These games and these lies, let's just get down to the truth and find out why it is that my son feels the way he does, and then we can move forward.
Well, let me stop you, sir. I'm assuming you both got a copy of the report that Mr. Kelly made.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me.
Yeah.
I get a version of that report that also tells me what Noah says. I'm not going to share that with you. Noah was.
I already know. He already told me that he lied to him and told him that he didn't want to see me anymore. And I took my son up there to Mike Kelly's office right with me. And I said, yeah, when he goes up there with his sister and his family and his mother, what do you think he's going to say? He's going to say what they want him to say. And that's exactly what he
I
did.
told him to tell the
So
truth.
Mr. Kelly's report, as far as I'm concerned,
Hold
is
on.
hogwash.
Hold
He never even gave me 1 day of parenting time. If he knew every hour and how many tears I cried and how much time I spent going back and forth from my home to there to try to see my son and being denied, he would think differently. But obviously he doesn't. So I have zero credibility because he doesn't know me and he doesn't know her, and that's the truth.
Your Honor.
You know, we can spend a lot of time rehearsing the past.
Yes.
If we're at a point where your son is spending time with you again and wants to spend time with you, and
Yes.
you and Ms. Hyatt are able to work out how that will happen, do I really need to take any action today?
And I get that. Listen, I get that. And I understand that totally, 1,000,000%. But what I'm saying is this: the past is going to determine the future. And this has been going on for years and years and years. And it is slowly deteriorating mine and my son's relationship.
You're drinking
And
and doing
What's that?
Hold on, ma'am, be quiet. Don't interrupt.
What I'm saying is this, is that if she's not going to be, okay, so let me give you an example here. For the last 2 months, I've had no communication with her, nothing, absolutely nothing, not trying to work on anything, not trying to do anything. I didn't see my son for Christmas, didn't see him on birthday, didn't see him on Father's Day, didn't do anything and nothing. When I come up to my son, when he's at the neighbor's house next door, when I come up to him on Easter with a phone card for the phone that I bought him, and I try to give it to him, I think he's coming down from the porch to give me a hug. He runs away from me. And, so there's some things that are going on, that aren't right, Are you still there?
We're still here. So
yes. And so that's all I'm saying. And what I'm saying is this, Judge, I don't mean to cut you off, but if she doesn't comply, if these things don't happen, and if the past is going to create the future, then these things are going to happen. What are you going to do to make sure that I can stay in contact with my son? Because it's just like Stockholm syndrome. You know what I mean? You can have somebody abduct somebody and then brainwash them. And then, I'm just being truthful.
Well, part of the concern is you drinking when you have your son.
I haven't drank when I've had my son. I got plenty of witnesses. I have kids here. I have the lady that I live with. I have everybody here. There's nothing going on. Where is the proof of that matter? And she says that she called CPS and somebody was trying to contact me or do something or whatever. I mean, this hasn't even been brought up by her in all our talk, except from you here right now.
Is there a current order that prohibits you from consuming alcohol when you're with your son?
Yes.
An order? That's in the friend of the court order. Yes.
Yeah.
And I haven't done that. I'll put a body cam on me. I'll go to the, hey, here's the novel idea. If I'm going to the police station to pick up my son, then I'll do a breathalyzer there, and I'll do a breathalyzer, at the end of it. I mean, these are all just bullshit excuses. Pardon my language. These are all just bullshit excuses that she uses because my son doesn't want to go with me. But I'm not exactly sure why that is. Why he does not want to go with me, because I've done nothing wrong. So we need to get down to that and figure that out and move forward.
So, Ms. Kerr, you wanted to say something.
I did. I wanted to suggest that the problem with the current order that is in place for parenting time that was written by Mr. Fallahy, the former representative of Mr. Harsh, it did not specify a pickup time location. It did not specify a drop-off time location. And so during that time, while he was still representing Mr. Harsh, we agreed that the parties would meet at the Jackson Sheriff's Office for pickup and for drop-off. And that was what was agreed. It's since come to my attention that Miss Hyatt agrees with Mr. Harsh that it may not be fair for him, since he has moved to Reading and lives out in Hillsdale County, that he would have to do all of the driving for that parenting time. So she has agreed, and I think we should write a new specific parenting time order, changing the day from Sunday to Saturday, still keeping it 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., where he can come pick Noah up at the Jackson Sheriff's Office. And then the child will be picked up by Christy Hyatt, the mother, at 6 p.m. at Mr. Harsh's residence.
Okay, so hold on here, Ms. Kerr. You're still wanting to play the same game that you played before, when I just told you it was nothing but a facade, nothing but a lie, that she never met me there except one time. So you're still continuing to lie is what you're doing.
Well,
Sir,
hold
I
on
am
a
not
minute.
I am
But
not
it's not-
lying. What I'm saying is the agreement was the pickup and drop off would be at the sheriff's office. The fact that you consistently stopped showing up there during those parenting time exchanges.
Oh my, don't even start. Don't even do that. Don't even go ahead and lie, because I've already talked to her about it and I have our whole thing recorded, everything. We met at the police station one time and that was it.
Nice.
So you can talk about your drop-offs and your pickups
Wait a minute.
and all your
Hold
other
on.
BS.
Hold
I
on.
went to the house
Miss-
to get my son up for
Miss-
church when he was so tired that he couldn't even wake up there.
Mr.
So go ahead and lie.
Mr. Harsh.
Okay.
My suggestion
Kerr-
is put it in the
Ms.
order.
Ms. Kerr didn't make a statement of fact. She
Okay.
just proposed that we modify the order to specify those locations. I think your reaction to that was, well, why should we do that when we only met there once before, and every other
Exactly.
time I would pick him up at her home.
And my suggestion would be, because he has consistently violated the personal protection order that is still in place. He's not supposed to be coming to her
Listen,
home.
I was at her home yesterday for 2 hours. I have a whole video of it
Yes,
with her and my son. So who's violating the order? She is, by placing
I
the
have no
order
choice.
in
Who
effect
else
and
is
doing
gonna
what
do
she
it?
does.
Hold on.
I'm trying to protect
Mr.
the
Harsh,
party.
Mr. Harsh, I want to make sure you understand something. A personal protection order against you only applies to things you do. It doesn't prohibit Ms. Hyatt from doing anything at all. So let's get
It
that
doesn't,
clear.
okay, so hold on. So it doesn't stop her from inviting me into her home and talking to me and my son, right?
It does not. It puts.
Okay.
It puts.
Oh,
It puts
I'm
you.
going to use one of your catchphrases here. Okay. So what would happen if I was over there, in your infinite wisdom, Judge, if I was over there and she called the police on me yesterday when I'm over there trying to work things out for my son? What would happen, Judge LaFlamme? Would I go to jail?
Absolutely. You would.
Absolutely,
you would
because you put the order in effect that gives her that right to do that and play the
Oh,
game.
you did, Jim.
So I'm not retarded here. So
We did that.
I don't know what you people are trying to say.
I don't. You seem not to understand what I'm telling you. Let me try it again. Real simple.
Okay, you try it
Okay.
again, Judge LaFlamme. Okay,
Just listen.
I'm listening.
The PPO prohibits you from going to her house. If she invites you to her house and you go, it doesn't matter. You're still in violation of the PPO. You should.
that's the
be there.
definition of insanity right there.
Well, that's how it works. Or whether you think
Well, that's how it works. Well,
insane
are
or
you going to
not,
arrest me for that?
I'm not ever going to arrest you. But if a police officer finds you doing anything or being anywhere that a PPO prohibits, you're going to get arrested. That's how it works.
That's how it works, huh? Well, okay. So, okay, here, let's hear. Let's hear your big brains, both you and her. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
But
Let's
you
hear
are.
what's your solution to this problem here. You know what? You're dealing with the person. Judge LaFlamme, did you watch her I watched you for probably 4 or 5 hours on that Zoom video over and over and over and over. And let me ask you a question, Judge LaFlamme. What did you think of Miss Hyatt when you watched her on that Zoom video, the last one?
I don't even remember the last one.
I'm sure you don't. And that's a big problem that I got going on. Because if you can't remember one video from the last, if you got so much going on, then you really don't know the specifics of what's really going on. Okay. And that's really what I thought. You know what I mean? I'm getting older too. I forget why I go into the other room sometimes. I'm 50 years old. So I could understand your distress. But so anyways, what are you going to do for me?
We're going to
Yes.
put specific parameters in
you
place.
have-
That's what I'm suggesting.
Mr. Harsh, you have one case. I have hundreds.
Okay.
I'm sure.
I understand
I'm
that.
Sure you
and
remember
I'm
yours
not saying
vividly.
that you don't have hundreds. I get that. But what I'm saying is mine is important to me. Okay. I'm not saying you don't have a million cases, but mine is important to me. Would yours not be important to you?
Of course it would.
Okay. Okay.
But
So let's get down to the importance here. What I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you don't throw me in jail for going around my ex-wife or doing anything like that. And I would like to make sure that my son has ample ability to see me, and it's going to be worked out between Christy and I. I don't know how that gets enforced or whatever, but I'm trying to do the best I can, okay, for my son, okay? So let's put all the personal differences aside. That's what I'm doing, and I want you guys to do the same.
I'm not going to put any order in place that puts you in the position of violating a PPO. I'm not going to do that. What I would do exactly what Ms. Kerr is proposing, that you that you meet at the Jackson Sheriff's Office to pick up your son, and that she drops your son. I'm sorry, that she picks up her son at the end of the visit from your house. She would stay in her car. Your son's old enough to go from the car to the house and from the house to the car on his own.
But I get that. I get that. And there's one thing that I want to say here is this. All I want is this. I want the existing order that her and I agreed to at the front of the court, which was holidays, weekends, different things, going through it, doing different things like that. That's why I want the original order. I want you to tell me this. I hired a lawyer, Mick Fallahy, and it went on the first Zoom hearing. I know you don't remember, but I do. You have many cases. I don't. I get that. But that first time, it went from nights, weekends, me taking my son, 2-3 nights a week, going to the Y weekend, and it went to a Sunday from 10 to 5. And then it went from a Sunday to 10 to 5 to nothing. And it continues to do that. You know what I mean? And now, here we are, day before for the Zoom hearing, I got to see my son the day before. So does not any of that stuff strike you as odd? Or, I mean, that's what I want. I just want to have equal parenting time with my son. Is that unreasonable?
I cannot do that today, sir. All I can do is today, because the only thing that's in front of me today are your parenting time complaints. That's all I can deal with. I can deal with the parenting time going forward until such time as a final order gets entered in the case, a final judgment. At that point, you can argue for something other than what's currently in place.
Yes.
But I'm not
listen,
going to do that
I get
today.
that. But listen, Judge LaFlamme, tell me this. If you've already put the order in place or through Rebecca Kerr or whatever, however it goes, that we were supposed to meet at the police station, and that was the way that things were supposed to go, and it went that way one time, and then I didn't see my son for going on 3 months now, what are you going to do to stop this from going on? Because it's Groundhog Day every day. I'm sure you're familiar with that. But why? I mean, what are you going to do if she doesn't let me see my son, or if this just keeps on continuing? What are you going to do? She had a warrant for her arrest for how long? 4 or 5 months before you got a hold of her? How many?
I don't know, sir.
I know you don't. It was 5 months. And I didn't get to see my son for 5 months, sir, Your Honor. And I'm just saying, I mean, what?
Why are we in court?
Any of these days back. They're all lost.
So, Ms. Kerr,
Yes.
I think what you're proposing is an excellent idea. You submit that order and I will sign it. If Ms. Hyatt violates my order, just like Mr. Harsh, if you violate one of my orders, there's always a potential that I will hold you in contempt of court, and there could be consequences to that. I could put you in
Well,
jail.
hey, listen,
I can
I'm
fine
going
you.
to tell you this, sir, respectfully. There's a lot of consequences to everything. So
Mr.
Ms.
Harsh,
Curry,
I want to know if he's agreeing to changing.
I really don't feel like speaking with you. I'll speak with you, Judge, whatever orders you do and go through with, whatever. I really don't feel like talking to her right now.
do you have a problem with changing the day from Sunday to Saturday?
Definitely not. Why would I? And then we're talking about, Christy and I talked last night for hours, and, you know, a couple times during the week to try to get him back in the flow of things. And that's the problem, because there's a lot of inconsistencies. That's what the problem is.
Well, I can tell you that no matter what an order says, the two of you are always free to agree to something else. But I want to make
And
sure.
I get that. And
I want to make sure there's a specific order in place to ensure
I know.
your parenting time.
And I know, hey, more, I know about the honey and more birds and sweetness, and I get that. I'm trying to be nice to her. I really am, but it's getting to the point to where, anyways, go ahead.
So, Ms. Kerr, you will submit that order?
Yes, so I just want to be clear, put it on the record. What I'm submitting is that we are modifying the parenting time order that is currently in place, changing the date of parenting time awarded to the plaintiff father, 10 a.m. pickup at Jackson Sheriff's Office by Mr. Harsh, and the parties will meet there at the Jackson Sheriff's Office parking lot. And then there will be a pickup by the defendant mother in Reading at 6 p.m. And these will be on Saturdays, every Saturday from 10
Judge,
to 6.
hey, Judge LaFlamme, you
Hold on.
there?
Let her finish.
How did this go? You can modify the order from one thing to another, but you can't modify the order back to the original agreement that we had before I called CPS.
Well,
How does that make sense?
I'm only changing this specific time of the parenting time.
I get it, but listen, I had weekends and holidays and all that stuff. I have none of that now. So
Yeah, because
That is
the reason you don't have that is
sub-
because you went to the court and you asked for something different.
It's a substantive change that requires I take testimony. This afternoon was only dealing with the specific parenting time in question. When I hear ultimately whatever is necessary to get a final divorce judgment in place, I can revisit the issues of custody and parenting time.
okay, when is that date coming up? And the reason, listen, sir, the reason that I wasn't there last time is because I didn't have $2,500 to go pay for Mick Falley to do nothing. I can't fight for my son and then not even have a place for him to even stay. You know what I mean? So that's the reason. And you highly suspected. If you don't remember, I'll tell you, you highly suspected. And you were right. That was the truth. So there, I didn't show up for the last one, but I'd like to show up for another one because I've saved up my money for a lawyer, but I really don't want to go that road. But I'm dealing with Christy, so
you will.
So I don't know.
You will get that notice. That'll tell you when to appear, and I'll deal with the permanent custody parenting time arrangement at that time.
All right. Hey.
All right. I think that wraps things up for today. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Hey, and remember me because this is a special case here. I just ain't no fool here. So thank you. Thank you, Judge. And thank you too, Ms. Kerr.
Mr. Harsh, I do not have any trouble remembering who you are.
Hey, when I get 76, I'll probably have a hard time remembering who you are.
All right. You have a good,
but anyways,
you have a good day.
All bullshit aside. Okay. Have a good day. You too.
Thank you, Ms. Kerr.
Thank you.
And then what happened to that other one, Stephen Dingy? That one's off too?
No, they're here. They've just been waiting their turn.
Oh.
Hello.
Okay, this is the matter, let me see, Step versus Dingy. It looks like I have, is this Ms. Step on the phone?
It is. I couldn't get on through the Zoom app for
All
some
right.
reason.
And Mr. Dingy, looks like he's in his vehicle, but he hasn't established an audio. Oh, looks like we have one. Mr. Dingy, can you hear me now? You have to unmute. There we go.
Yes.
Okay, so Ms. Stepp is on by telephone. We're here today on a number of parenting time complaints, it looks like. So give me just a moment to take a quick look at what's here. All right, and these are Mr. Dingy's parenting time complaints. Let me verify whether or not there is a disagreement as to whether these parenting time denials occurred, and I'll go through them in chronological order. Give me just a moment. Oh, hold on. That's why that didn't make sense. That was from the wrong file. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so the complaint in front of me is dated November 25th. It asserts that Mr. Dingy was denied parenting time on October 7th. You haven't had any parenting time since October 7th.
I haven't seen or talked to her since then.
Okay, and Ms. Stepp, do you acknowledge that Mr. Dingy has not seen his child since October 7th?
I acknowledge that he has not seen her since October 12th when I filed PPO. I filed that on the 13th. It was the 12th. It was the last time I picked her up from his house.
Ms. Stepp, a PPO does not affect parenting time other than it does impact how exchanges need to take place to make sure that Mr. Dingy isn't in violation of a PPO, but a PPO doesn't give you the right to withhold parenting time.
Nope, nobody has contacted me to get her.
Somebody's got a phone ringing in the background. Is it possible for you to mute that, please?
That's gotta be his phone ringing.
All right, I'm going to mute you, Mr. Dingy. You'll still be able to hear me, but I don't want to hear that noise coming through. I can unmute when it's time for me to hear from you. Okay, so Ms. Stepp, I don't have the PPO in front of me, but I can pull it up very quickly. Give me just a moment. Well, I shouldn't have said quickly, as quickly as this antiquated system of ours will let me. So, okay. I see a PPO. It was issued just this year?
Yeah, last year, but this technically would be.
Oh, okay. No, I'm sorry. It was, I've got it. Let me pull it up and take a look at it. Yes, all right. It was issued.
October 14th.
October 16th.
16th, yep, okay.
Looks
so
like the
14th is when
PPO
I-
was issued on the 16th, so give me a moment. I'm gonna pull that up and take a look at it. I have to open another program to let me do that, and it usually opens pretty slowly. Okay. So this PPO prohibits Mr. Dingy from entering your premises, assaulting you, following you, confronting you, showing up at your residence, and various kinds of harassing behavior. Prior to the PPO, where did the parenting time exchange take place?
And normally it happened at his house. He
So you
honestly
you would
hasn't had more.
you would drop off and pick up the child yourself?
Most of the time. I would say 90% of the time, yeah.
And how her name is Lainey?
Yeah, Lainey.
And Lainey is what? 3 years
Four.
old, about to turn 4.
Correct.
Okay. So you were about to tell me the parenting time looks like it was pretty much equal parenting time. Is that what you followed?
According to your paperwork, it was equal, yeah.
Right. I understand that's what the paperwork says. But are you saying that you didn't follow that?
Not ever. We never followed the paperwork. We went to court.
What did you follow?
Pretty much whatever he wanted, which was me. He watched her while I worked. I had her overnight. He maybe had her 17 total, and I have it all written down. In 6 months. The day that he kept her from me for 2 months. We went to court. I got her back. The day I got her back, didn't ever want me to take a drug test, not a single one. And the paperwork I received says that I was visibly high. He asked me to take a drug test. He never did. The reason why I filed the PPO, and I guess I'll start off by saying I never ever have kept her from him. Not one time. I've always been very big on having her in his life.
But you've kept her from him since October, though, haven't you?
Yeah, because he was very violent towards me with her in the car. In my PPO it states everything that happened. He broke my windshield.
She was present when all of that happened.
Every single event that happened, she was with me, and he didn't take into consideration that he was with me. She was with me. He didn't take into consideration the fact that he had 5 or 6 other people with him jumping me. None of this was ever brought up in his motion, because he knows that I'm doing nothing wrong. My daughter was in danger. His other kids are in danger as well, and I don't believe that he's fit to be a parent at this time. He needs a lot of counseling. He needs help, and I've tried to do that outside of court. I've tried to help him many different times. When he doesn't have a girlfriend, he's fine. Everything's good. He knows he has a problem. He wants help. I have many, many text messages and voice messages from Mr. Dingy stating that he needs help. And then as soon as he gets back with his girlfriend, I'm the bad guy, and like I said, he broke my windshield. Him and his girlfriend both ran at me. She dented my car with a shovel, tried popping my tires. All of this, my daughter was present. He showed up after I got out of work one night. I had my daughter with me. He tried breaking my window at that point with him, his sister's girlfriend, and his other 2 children, along with my 3-year-old. It's just, he's a ticking time bomb, Your Honor, and something bad is going to happen. He pulled a gun on me with my daughter in the vehicle. All of this.
So let me stop you, ma'am. So the reason you've been withholding your child is because you believe that she is not safe with Mr. Dingy when he's behaving the way that you just described.
I know she's not safe, and she's scared to death. Every time her dad is brought up, which is very rare because I don't like it, she screams and she cries, and she knows that it's a bad situation. And I will do my best to make sure that she's not put into that situation ever again, because she was mortified. She was scared to death. She saw a gun the same time I saw a gun pulled, and she can tell you the exact story that I will give you. She saw it for herself. And he didn't care that she was with me. He didn't care that this could harm her for the rest of her life. He didn't care.
So, Mr. Dingy, I want to hear from Mr. Dingy. You can unmute your phone now, Mr. Dingy.
Yes.
So, Mr. Dingy, what Ms. Stepp just described to me, if true, if I were her, I'd have done the same thing.
It's all false, Rihanna.
So you're claiming she just made all of this up? Why did she make all of this up?
Because she doesn't want me with my current girlfriend I'm now having a kid with, and she is jealous. There was never no gun. She called the cops on me. She followed me. Her and her boyfriend followed me down the highway onto Elm Street, down to Dairy Queen. Had the cops called, searched me and my vehicle. There was nothing ever found. I've never even owned a firearm or nothing. The day that she took our daughter, she's the one that pulled in there trying to come in my house, starting things. We never proceeded to start anything. No, never once. I went to her residence when I knew she was at work, because I knew Justin, her file, who was her boyfriend at the time, had my daughter, and I did not agree with it. So I knocked on the door and I said, Justin, hand me my daughter and I'll leave. He didn't open the door, so I got in the car and left. When I went to leave, Blackman Township met me at the entrance, and so did she. They then told me I was no longer allowed on the property. I wasn't allowed to contact her for my daughter, for anything.
And you're speaking to when from the time the PPO was served on you?
Correct.
So if the police were involved, there's likely to be a police report. I'm hearing completely different stories from the two of you. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that today, but I'm going to need to hear from some other witnesses, since you obviously are each telling me a completely different story.
Okay.
Ma'am, excuse me. What was the date of the incident that prompted you to get the PPO?
The date of the incident was October 12th, and I also have video and message proof of all of this. Of them, I have videos. I have numerous text messages of him threatening to kill me. He's going to put me 6 feet under with my dad. All of this is messages that he sent to me on my phone from his phone. So I have.
All right. Well, that's all the kind of testimony that I need to see, but you need to get that stuff to me in advance. You need to print out text messages. You need to submit them. You can submit them to my law clerk, court officer. Do you have the ability to email those?
I do. Can I have an email address?
Yes. His email address is P as in Peter.
Okay.
His last name, Veldkamp, V as in Victor, E
Okay.
at mijackson.org.
All right.
And on the 12th, were the police involved on the 12th?
The police were involved at every incident. Yes.
All right. How many dates? Because I'm going to request copies of police reports so that when we come back, I will have any necessary witnesses present. So I don't have to just rely on your word or his word. I can find out who's telling the truth and who's not.
Okay. So there was 3 different incidents. 1 second. I can
What
get
is
the date.
Yeah, I want those 3 dates.
Hold on 1 second. So one, it doesn't say the date on the complaint. It just gives me a complaint number. It doesn't say a date on here.
I'm sure there should be dates somewhere in it. You've actually got a police report?
Didn't actually go down and get the police reports. I just got the card that the officers gave me.
I
because
got
I
you.
was told that you weren't going to ask for any of this today. That you were going to set up an evidence hearing, and then that's when you would want the paperwork.
Is it Blackman Township all the time?
Yeah, except for the when he pulled the gun on me, that was Jackson City Police.
And what was the date of that incident?
The date of that incident was the 15th of October.
Now, Mr. Dingy's telling me that the police actually stopped him that day, did a search, and found no firearm.
The police, both of us called the police at the exact
2 minutes
same time.
after she see me, so.
I'm speaking. He was able to get the person with the gun and the gun out of his vehicle in enough time to stop at Dairy Queen, and then that's when they searched him.
I got
He
you.
wasn't at the dairy. He wasn't stopped by the police. He pulled over himself. He stopped himself and called the police. That's where they met him with Dairy Queen.
I called the police when I noticed they were following me off the highway. I was the first one to call.
All right. We'll get to the bottom of all of this, but we're not going to do it today. I want to make sure I've got all of the exhibits, any police reports. Ma'am, any text messages you want me to review, you need to email them to Peter Veldkamp. I will take care of subpoenaing police reports from the Blackman Township and the Jackson City Police Department. Mr. Dingy, are there any exhibits that you think you will want me to look at?
The fact that she had now acknowledged that she is an active drug user and she has not done one class, has not done drug testing, nothing.
Not an active drug user.
Hold on. I'm not asking you for the facts. I'm asking you, do you have this stuff in writing in some format that you can submit to me for consideration?
Yes, it's in the custody order through the courts.
There's in the custody order her admitting that she's doing drugs?
Yes, it's in the order. It states that she is to drop when she picks up my daughter or whenever I suspect her under the influence, which she has never, not one time, and never had taken a class.
He's never asked her.
I've asked her several times.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
Sorry.
Anything that's in a court record, you don't have to submit to me.
Right.
I was under the impression that you were telling me that she had admitted to you that she was using drugs.
Okay,
and
I have.
My only question about that is, if it was a conversation, you can just testify to that. But if she admitted something like that in a text message, you would need to get the text messages into me so that I have them in front of me.
I have text messages from. I have text messages from a good friend of theirs stating that they've been doing drugs and getting high.
Pull them together, submit them to me. When we have a hearing, I'll be able to consider those things.
Okay.
And
he will testify as well. So
when I have allegations, charges of the kind of behavior you've been accused of, sir, I take them seriously. I will certainly give you a chance. to tell your side of the story. Under these circumstances, I'm not comfortable ordering any kind of parenting time except some kind of supervised parenting time. I do think you should be allowed to see your child, but I don't want to order unsupervised parenting time until I can get to the bottom of all of this.
That's fine.
I take the safety of children paramount. There is a ma'am, is there anyone other than yourself that you would feel comfortable supervising parenting time between Mr. Dingy and Laney?
Yeah, the DHS building. None of my family wants to be around him, and I don't trust any of his family.
Well, and DHS isn't involved. I can't order them to supervise parenting time except when they're involved in a case. So what we're left with, and frankly, I'm not even sure. Peter, do you happen to remember whether or not the Family Visitation Center is even supervising visits? I know it was suspended. Let me see if I can find something online. I just don't remember. And what the current status is, I'm not sure anyway, but let me see if I can get a quick answer.
I'm looking right now too.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks, I won't keep you for that. We will do some research. If indeed they are available, I will issue an order with specific information. Let me make sure I've got a way of contacting both of you. So ma'am, I've got your phone number on the screen. Is that the right number to use? Oh, we lost her. Okay, ma'am, we lost you. I got you back.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened. I can hear you.
Okay. All right, so I've got your phone number from the screen. Mr. Dingy, what is your phone number?
517-745-8565.
All right. This service normally is available. I just not sure what level they're functioning at given the COVID issues, but I will fully explore that for you. The only other option available is a service that charges. I kind of like this service. Again, I'm not sure they're doing it with COVID in place, but the nice thing about it is I get reports from them telling me how the visits go. You know, how does the visiting parent and the child interact, that sort of thing. Again, I'm going to have to explore that to make sure it's even available. If it is available, it's an option I will offer to you until I can get a hearing scheduled. Ma'am, get your information to that email address as soon as you can. Mr. Dingy, if there are things that you would want to submit, you can submit them to that same email address.
Okay.
Do you want me? Do I need to repeat the address for you, sir?
Yeah, I'm looking for a pen. Just a second, sorry. Okay, go ahead.
It's P, the letter P as in Peter, VELDKAMP at mijackson.org.
Okay, can you repeat the first form again that went?
Yeah, his name is Peter Veldkamp. So it's his first initial and his last name. PVELDKAMP.
Okay, thank you.
Veldkamp, and it's at mijackson.org. So if you could get in as soon as you can, that information to Mr. Veldkamp, as soon as he gets it, I will make arrangements for obtaining police reports. So I've got some corroborating information to support whichever one of you is telling me the truth. And then once I get that stuff, I will schedule a hearing as soon as possible. In the meantime, I'm going to explore what kind of supervised parenting time is available so that you can at least get a chance to see your daughter until I can get to the bottom of this.
Thank you.
Okay, you'll both be hearing from me shortly. That concludes our hearing. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.